Good evening, fans of Rando. Welcome to Speed Gaming and the Speed Gaming Daily Race Series. This is a length fast randomizer daily race, a mystery friendly weight seed. I am Mayan DM. I am joined in the booth by Hexodus. How are you doing this evening, Hexodus?
Not too bad. How about you?
I am doing well. I only noticed this at the absolute last minute, so we do apologize. This was actually commentators getting ready time, but our users should be off here momentarily. We have GFE and Koi as our featured racers today, and they should be underway. In fact, Koi is underway now.
Oh, nice. Love to see some Super Mario RPG sprites.
Yep, that's a good one, and Koi playing as his favorite beat sprite.
So I guess right away this is an open mode.
Yeah, pretty clearly. Mystery for anyone who is not aware means that you have no idea what the settings are. You're going to go in and you will see what you will see. We could have some key sanity on offer today. It may be swordless. The weights will prove out in the end, but our runners will have to find them out on their own.
Although with that blue guard dying to the sign, we can probably safely say it's not random health.
Well, the blue guard could theoretically have shuffled down in health, so
True.
we'll hold ultimate judgment on that for just a little while yet, but it does seem likely.
Also safe to say Randomizer, for at least the sprites, is not on.
Yep,
Everything
Randomizer for regular
well.
enemies off. Boss shuffle could still be a thing. We'll see once our runners get onto, and we've got a map check. Green pendant at Desert, regular pendant at Hera, and a crystal at Eastern, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. It was a very quick check. Okay, it's gonna drive me nuts. What is his name? The sprite.
Which GFEs?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Hopefully somebody in chat can save us on that one.
Ugh. Okay.
And Koi with a check of the Lumberjack ledge so quick that I could not catch it. This is the difference between runners who are actually good at the game and somebody like me who's only really good at talking about it. But GFE with the fire rod there in the forest drop, probably pretty happy.
Gino is the name. It was gonna drive me nuts, I'm sorry. It's a really nice place for that.
Yeah, that's a good one to get. Not a repeatable weapon until we find some source of magic, but it does deal damage to most things and does pretty well cook most things at the same time. And GFE going to go into the well. Not enough money for bombs, no bombs in inventory. It takes a little less time to go through here and gamble for bombs than it takes to go into Blindside Out. It's a couple extra screen transitions there. And he's going to come out with enough money to actually get the bombs he wants. Of course, Koi is just going to go with the old tried and true, go right into Blindside Out, see if we don't find some bombs here. And, well, there's that magic that I was talking about. Half magic on offer there in Blindside Out.
Well, that's really nice when you get an early rod is getting early magic.
Yeah, it certainly makes the fire rod a more convenient weapon to use. Bombs will take care of a lot of early game enemies, but the point and shoot of the fire rod is pretty handy.
I mean, as a kid, I always thought that the half magic used twice as much magic.
Yes, it was worded interestingly, shall we say, in the translation of the game.
Yeah, something about being burdened with less, but more. It was strange. Ooh.
Now we'll see a play here from Koi that we don't see a whole lot. Menuing. Koi is an adherent to the old school and eschews quick swap.
GFE finding that mirror.
That's another nice one to get. You can't imagine that anybody's going to miss it, though, so, it's a convenience for both of our runners bright and early. Once Dark World access happens for them, we'll have the ease of mirroring back and forth rather than having to perform save and quits every time you want to go somewhere else.
Very true. Also means when you do that purple chest run that you can get K45 and everything else along the way.
Yeah, not only convenience, but it allows you to tie a lot of those checks together a little more thoroughly. It feels better rather than having to go back for things like that later and making them one-offs.
Yeah, especially stuff like King's Tomb. If you have the boots, you can hit the mirror instead of waiting for Titans. Speaking of, there's our boots.
Well, no surprise that our runners are going to be happy to see those. Every seed feels just a little bit quicker once you can go dashing around.
Yeah, especially when saving the old man. I personally like to cover the little gap with the old man just for fun. It wastes a bunch of time, but it's funny.
Well, isn't that the point? Having fun? Isn't that why we're here?
I guess. Sure. Ooh, okay, so not swordless. No,
Yeah,
don't
not
switch to
swordless.
bombs. You have boots, you don't need bombs. Oh, good. GFE remembered. Yeah, it looks like Koi forgot about Bottle Vendor, which is very unfortunate.
Ooh, that's not an easy one to remember once you miss it either. A lot of the other NPCs have visual tells that you've checked them, but the bottle vendor, not so much.
No, he's just got the, dude, you already have it. Which is one of my favorite, NPC speeches, aside from the whole Jazz Hands Desert.
Yep, that's a good one. Some of the Ganon facts are pretty entertaining.
Yeah, they need new ones. Blind's joke about the a broken pencil being pointless gets me every time. Okay, so we see a vanilla key here. Well, vanilla-esque, in that it's in its own dungeon.
So, at least not small key shuffle, but I'm pretty sure all of those shuffles are independent.
Yeah, so we could still see big keys being shuffled. It looks like maps will be vanilla as well. Fun fact about this room, you can actually dash into the torch on the very right, and it lines you up for the chest.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, GFE seems to be going about it the old-fashioned way and is having a little trouble finding it.
Blue goo.
It's not bad, but, it's the second bottle, so not really going to get any new information out of it.
Nah, but I think the other one was a B, so it's nice to have some blue goo.
No, for sure. As a safety, there's not a whole lot that beats it.
Although the B
Especially as
is
the
good for
health
mini
pool
mold
keeps.
on. Yes, Compass Shuffle could still be a thing. Oh, nice flute. Now, we'll see if Koi remembers.
This would be the
Bottle.
time to remember, because you're going to be right next to that NPC. And you know that any runner would have to feel at least a little bad about having left the boots there, but you know, we're not even 10 minutes in yet, so not an insurmountable error to overcome if he manages to fix it now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the absolute best case.
But it appears that Koi is going to charge a sword spin here. This is to remove the lag for summoning the bird when you have no boots and cannot item dash. I learned recently that you can also quick swap off and back onto the flute to rid yourself of that particular lag of summoning the bird after you've freed it from its plinth there. But I think we're just going to see a flute away.
Unfortunate. Well, at least so far, nothing being missed out on for not having the boots.
Yeah, that will be the interesting thing to see. Is missing the boots anything but just the time loss of being able to dash around? We could have a boots-locked desert, we could have boots-locked GT. Obviously the lumberjack is just those 3 bombs, so that's nothing to worry about.
Nice bow on old man.
It's not logical yet, so he knows that he's not going to find the lamp behind that.
No, but it's one of those things you can do.
Yeah, in the case of runners like these, it's simply more knowledge. I know that the lamp is not going to be behind this item or whatever I get using this item.
That's true.
And of course, since the fire rod is already in hand for both of our runners, I can't imagine that they're going to go out of their way trying to find the lamp. So it may simply be checks that Koi thinks I don't have to make anymore.
Yeah, that could very well be.
GFE going to take that shovel that he found at the dam and take it over to the shovel spot. We're not going to have a vanilla flute here today. The flute is already in hand, but something interesting could be here. Or, you know, a buried piece of heart. Like, you know, normal. If you go digging in the woods, you find garbage.
Sometimes you can find good stuff. Why, the other day I was playing NMG and I found a flute there.
Shocking, isn't it?
Extremely. Almost as shocking as slashing the middle curtains when you go to fight Aga.
Well, why would you cut anything else? There's no reason to ruin the rest of the drapery.
I have a penchant for slashing curtains. It just seems like one of those things that like a sociopath would do, you know? Go walking into some person's castle and just start slashing curtains.
Yeah, you know, that or a punk band. Slashing curtains could be a good punk band.
Ooh, I like it. It's like smashing pumpkins, but slashing curtains. Alternatively, too, this could just be a pet seed and those boots are required.
Yep, it is possible. Just one of those things that we're going to have to stay on the lookout for.
Link is canonically a sociopath. I agree.
Breaks into people's houses, steals their belongings, gives them nothing in return. Well, except the salvation of their realm. You know, I suppose there is that.
Eh. But we never find out what he does with the golden power. So he literally could be doing anything with it. You know, and then... Oh, that's nice. Nice Titans.
Every once in a while, the Zor Lord decides to declare peace by handing out an item of actual value for 500 rupees. It confuses the runners to no end.
I wonder what he does with all that bank. Because he's got to have, like, just hordes of cash stealing all that money from runners.
There's probably a cave behind the waterfall, and he goes Scrooge McDucking around in it in his spare time.
With rupees. A little sharp. No, I think the strongest evidence for Link being a sociopath, since we're almost done there, is leaving your uncle to die in the cave, or in the the secret passage.
And yes, it was, Stu. I'm glad you caught it.
Rule of acquisition.
Yeah, we're going Star Trek references here.
Ah, okay. I'm relatively unfamiliar.
Koi getting a little off kilter on that Armos kill, but cleans it up nicely. First crystal of the match in hand, sub 16 minutes.
It's a good time.
GFE trying to get some spin speed going there, and the stairs not really cooperating.
Yeah, you know, sometimes that one frame roll your thumb on the face buttons is hard to do.
Sounds easy in theory, not always so easy in practice, even for runners of this caliber. So we've got 5-6 at Thieves Town and Ice and a pendant at Skullwoods, so everything else should be normal crystals, I believe, since we've already accounted for a green pendant at Desert.
Nice big key. So, I think at this point it's safe to say, since I did see a compass on Koi's side, there's no shuffling going on. Nice pearl.
That is Dark World access on GFE's side. Koi yet to visit the Zor Lord, yet to go up to the Tower of Hera, is still missing a glove and that pearl for the Dark World access, but probably going to find them here in the very near future. I say as he decides that instead he wants to go straight up to the castle. It's an interesting option without the boots. The slog through the front of this is exactly that, kinda long and slow and not really a whole lot of fun, but you know, if you've played enough Standard, and with the tournament going around I expect that pretty much everybody who plays the game has, you're used to it.
Ooh, nice ice rod.
Mr. Stone friendly weights means that it is mildly less likely that the randomizer will give you a terrible mystery seed. It's still entirely possible that it could give you a terrible mystery seed, of course.
Ask Fear Agent to roll you one.
Yeah, or Professor Renderer.
Oh yeah, both of them. Actually, I think Professor Renderer's seed rolling has been worse for me. But then again, I roll terrible seeds for myself, so...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I roll nothing but terrible seeds for myself. It's the curse of being a runner, I think.
The worst is when you, like, roll a ped seed, and Turtle Rock is a ped, like a pendant. Boy's making quick work of the dungeon here. Looks like he's going to head back to Dark Cross.
Yeah, GFE went at Dark Cross from the other side, Koi choosing to loop it in with this portion instead. And, you know, it works either way. Maybe a little more straightforward this way, I don't know. I feel it's kind of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, and I'm good at neither of them.
Yeah, it really depends which one you do more often.
GFE's in the midst of a Froggy World tour here, finding a whole lot of nothing in Cave 45, or Cave South of Grove, or however you want to try and call that cave. Whatever it is, it had bupkis today.
So what do you do in this situation? Because you really want to get to the pyramid. But we don't really have a way there, outside of a kern jump.
Well, the kern jump certainly works. You could also perform a splash delete while you're down on this side of the world.
Well, that's true. We have bow and bombs. I don't know, I'm thinking with our items set.
Assiduously dodging, going back up the mountain. I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah. I'm kind of feeling pedestal with all these items we're getting.
Yeah, Ped could be interesting. You know, Harrow is available early. That book just showed up, so you can get into Desert Fire Rod for Skull Woods. It's certainly on the table. Of course, with the mirror and the book, you can get over into the Skull Woods area and check, rather than, you know, just YOLOing it.
This is true. Very nice Ancilla fake flipper there.
Now, GFE just needs to stay out of the way of these zeros long enough to get on the other ladder, and does so. Very nice. There are a lot of ways to get hit by a bomb and die there, and he managed to avoid all of them.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I like to do the kern jump. It's a little harder to set up, but... Although I guess technically you could do the same thing.
GFE going to read this tile here to see we need 4 crystals to beat Ganon. And was that open? I think that might have been open.
That was fast Ganon, yeah.
So we have 4 crystals to damage Ganon and fast Ganon available today.
Head Dream is dead. This is why you don't rely on breadcrumbing.
Not in Mystery, anyway.
No. But yeah, it looks like we are doing a pretty serious world tour here.
Yep, full commitment with that Ancilla fake flipper and all the way to Catfish. And we talk about all the things that GFE does so well, and then he fails to throw a rock into a ring of rocks. What is the world coming to?
I mean, I've missed that ring before. Sometimes you just get excited, you know?
Koi using the spin slash setup for that bomb jump, using the spin animation to stabilize yourself rather than falling off into the pit, and since you need to be that close to actually get over that particular gap, it works out really well. There are a few other places you can use that, Skull Woods chiefly among them.
I've never actually learned that setup.
It's one that I've learned, and I don't mind using it in Skull Woods, but I don't always keep myself from falling in the pit, so I'm not really comfortable using it in Hera yet. It says something about the runner that he is more than willing to just walk right up to the ledge of it and blow himself across like Koi did.
Yeah, because I mean, falling there is actually pretty detrimental. You do lose a substantial amount of time because you fall 2 floors.
And Koi seems to be picking up what the seeds putting down early about the availability of those pendant dungeons has cleared out Tower of Hera.
And getting the Moon Pearl.
That was the second item, first being the 300 up on the floor with the big chest, whatever's in that other chest there in vanilla. GFE not quite ready to take that blacksmith home, is going to go ahead and check King's Tomb first. Just a 20 on offer there.
I mean, I get it. When you have the smith, you kind of want hammer to do hammer pegs.
Which is all well and good until you run into a situation where that blacksmith hands you his hammer when you bring him home.
No, he's just going to give you a quarter of his heart.
Yeah, just a little affection for all the sights of the world that you showed him. Yes, to confirm what chat is already telling chat, the first sword of the game was on the race game.
And it looks like Koi is very close to getting Dark World access.
Yep, finally heading in the direction of those Titan Smiths on the Zorlord.
Those boots coming in massively handy for GFE. Being able to set up the water walk without the Moon Pearl.
That and all of the movement advantage. It's been a good 20 minutes now. At this point, especially since we know we only need 4 crystals to beat Ganon, it is entirely possible that those boots are going to do absolutely nothing and Koi will never know. Well, until they start talking about it after the race.
This is true. Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty safe to say Koi is probably never getting those boots.
Unless there's some weird edge case where the 4th crystal is Misery Mire and the hookshot hasn't shown up yet.
It could be.
That seems to be about the only thing left at this point.
Yeah, because we likely won't do Ganon's Tower. Unless it's something fun like 1 crystal open.
And it could be, but until we find at least, the hookshot or the hammer, we don't have access to the side of the mountain that would actually let us get there.
Not legally, anyways. Yeah, so what the real problem with running this game, if you skip something like Bottle Vendor, you'll likely never check it. It's like skipping Lumberjack. If you don't actively remember that you've skipped it, you're never going back for it. But so far, the boots haven't really led to anything other than the movement advantage.
We'll get an Armos fight from GFE here, who will very shortly even up the crystal count between our 2 featured runners today.
And we're going to get a Graveyard Ledge check. for nothing.
Yeah, if you really needed more bombs, you could just walk out and back in again. Having bombs sitting there on the inside is kind of an insult.
A little bit. It's fast Ganon, so we don't actually need the GT Big Key on Bob's torch. If that is where it is.
Very nice first try Karn jump there from Koi. The way he sets it up anyway is to kind of lay that bomb down and pick it up as you're walking around the corner of the tree, and then once you get past it, tap up to move up just a pixel or two, and it times out pretty much perfectly. As soon as you jump off, you start holding down, and the bomb blows you right into that screen transition. GFE opting for Hammerless Thieves Town, which may not be a problem, but the small key has already showed up, so the possibility that he's leaving something behind can exist at the moment.
Could be a safe bet that there's just nothing here. Or, you know, could be the map or compass that's in the big chest.
Those are all possibilities, or, you know, the other hope is, I only need 4 crystals to defeat Ganon anyway, maybe whatever I happen to leave behind there is for a dungeon that I don't have to do.
Or it could be your Master Sword.
Yeah, that would not be the best feeling in the world.
I mean, we already know it's not vanilla swords, so... that's something, at least. Ooh, nice God Pixel.
Yep, landed in the right spot, and RNG did not deny him. Koi also getting the information RE fast Ganon.
Well, there's a compass. And it looks like Koi's headed into pod.
Seems likely, unless he wanted to splash delete to... I'm not even sure where he would want to go at that point. I don't think you can actually get around anywhere that way.
Could technically get to Ice Palace, but you still have to mirror.
Yeah, at that point it's probably easier in a lot of respects to do that in the light world where the enemies are a little less dangerous.
Agreed.
But as you surmised, we do seem to get the pod play here. Hammerless pod, not the most fun thing in the world, but with the bow, everything but the boss is accessible, and the mirror makes it not terrible to get around.
And it was not bow locked.
Well, not immediately anyway. It's entirely possible that we've got a couple of small keys on the bow locked side and the entire back of the place could be out of logic, but, you know, we'll find out here in a minute.
I think there has to be 4 keys up front.
There must be at least 4 and as many as all 6. Well, GFE had just a little wobble there on Phase 3, but mostly stayed on script for blind and picks up Crystal number 2 at 34 minutes. So I think we've gone small key, small key, small key so far. The basement has the big key. I guess that's kind of vanilla adjacent.
Yeah, you definitely feel a lot better going to the back with the big key in hand. That way you can always do that wonderful big chest jump, even though it's not really a time save in this mode.
Yeah, it's not bad, and it certainly looks swaggy.
That's true.
Like a lot of other tricks in this game, even if they're not going to save you gobs and gobs of time, if you've got it, why not flaunt it, right?
That's true. And I mean, in a race, you might as well do things quickly. Yeah, not having the boots certainly makes things a little bit slower. I don't actually know the time differential on something like that, but... it's definitely time lost. Alright, so if you're GFE, where do you go?
I don't know, personally I kind of feel the sequence break of ice here. It's another one of those crystals that you can put on the board.
Not without the hammer.
Oh, you are right, I am forgetting the hammer. That is an excellent question then. We may go back in that case to the thought you had earlier that all of these pendant dungeons have been accessible since forever ago. Are we looking for some major item like the hammer that's going to lock everything else behind it? Because you need it for pod, you need it for swamp, you need it for ice, you need it for turtle rock, so... yeah, that's 4 of your 7 crystals. If the hammer's there, you're gonna need it to beat the seed for sure.
Could be Samaria as well. Yeah, it's really hard to say where the hammer could be. Pedestal is definitely a viable option, given that we do have access to everything.
Samaria really only technically locks the 2 dungeons, though you can probably get away without that. And Koi finds another sword there in the big chest of Palace of Darkness. Unfortunately, that seems like the best thing that he found in a non-clearable Palace of Darkness. No hammer on offer there.
That is a good find, though.
Needed to find that second sword somewhere, not going to damage Ganon without it.
Walks right by Bottle Vendor once again. Ooh, just a little early on that bonk.
Yeah, he was 1 pixel low on his spin slash setup, and so he needed the bonk to actually cross the gap, and the bonk was a little early.
Three swords in GT sounds terrible, guys.
It would not be the first time, nor would it be the last.
GT, the real hype cave. Oh, there's our hammer.
Alright, well now I feel better about sequence breaking ice.
Yep.
Of course, that's also access to the Eastern Mountain Light and Dark. You can get up to GT, find out how many crystals you... because the other things that you need may just be tucked away in there, but it looks like Pod is going to be GFE's next play.
It's a safe bet.
Especially since with that hammer, he gets to full clear it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you full clear what you have in logic first, and then do everything else. Is how I would do it. And Ice Palace with Fighter Sword is pretty ick.
Well, it's Ice Palace with Fighter Sword, but it's Cold Stare with half magic Fire Rod. And Bombos to crack the shell, so you have plenty of magic left over for the actual puffs.
Yeah, but what if you have just abysmal aim?
Well, then you're probably not a 3000 elo monster like GFE, so...
That's fair. Yeah, I imagine this is going to be just a full clear here, and then head over to Ice Palace.
Yep, head over to Ice Palace, hope that it gives you something that gives you, you know, one more dungeon, whether it be the Red Cane to get through Mire or the Hookshot to get through Swamp.
We only need 4 crystals, right?
Oh, yeah, well, you need one of those two, because he'll have Ice, Thieves Town, and Eastern, so he needs, after that, to get either Mire or Swamp. Or he's getting Pod, isn't he?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Counting is hard.
Just wanted to double check that I didn't miss anything.
No, I'm just miscounting things. You know, because Pod's not lit up yet because he hasn't actually killed the boss. I like it, Homemade Beer. Just go pick up your Ice Rod and hover TR. That'll work.
That's far more feasible and inverted. Hovering TR in normal is gross.
Well, if it was secretly entrances all along, you could just find the laser bridge entrance and then you'd be okay.
True. You still gotta hover that last little bit. And by little bit, I mean extremely long, pointless hallway. Where you essentially walk a tightrope. You know, without the rope. Okay. We're not gonna go to the back?
Going to go ahead and get the boss first, I guess. Which is fine, but the second sword that we know about is in the back, so GFE probably wants to be there. Now, no telling where those other 2 swords are.
And I'm sure he knows that he needs that second sword. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. If there's a sword on Helma, you're definitely skipping the rest of this.
GFE playing with turtles in the dark here, trying to light that torch with the fire rod and not having a lot of luck.
It is a pretty terrible room.
Luckily, with red mail and half magic, you have plenty of time to actually get the fire rod shot in the position you want. And although we didn't mention it since we have found both the blue and the red mail, we're not on a hard or expert item pool here.
That's a good point.
Yeah, expert pool could have also been ruled out by the number of hearts that our runners have achieved, particularly GFE.
Nice hitbox extension there.
It's a good trick to know, using the spin speed to activate that state where your hammer hitbox is extended, kind of like holding out the sword, but, you know, you don't have to hold out the sword to move really quick.
And to me, it always feels like it actually extends it a little bit further than the sword. I feel like you don't have to stand as close. But that could just be a lineup thing. Alright, we're gonna see Sword Yump. Nope.
Would have been really interesting to see how fast the mirror came out if he had decided to perform the hammer jump there.
Yeah, this will be technically out of logic go mode for GFE. Because technically you need the flippers, but...
But you're in go mode, so who cares? You get to skip everything when you're in go mode.
Including flippers. I mean, that's kind of the mantra of speedrunning, right? If it's possible to skip, you skip. Who needs lamp when you have half magic?
And when you have a sword to sparkle for you in the dark.
Or you can kick up boot dust. And at 46 minutes, 13 seconds, GFE hits technical go mode.
Not logical go mode, but it seems unlikely that we're going to find logical go mode this seed.
Yeah. Not with the item set that we have. The best kind of go mode, exactly. Now you're thinking like a bureaucrat.
The best kind of go mode is the one that lets you win the game before your opponents.
You've had no Samaria. Well, you can actually do this trick without Samaria. You just need a bug net and a fairy, and RNG to be really on your side. But it's pretty gross. I've tried it.
Of course, the only 3 of those things that GFE may have is RNG on his side. The other 2 are not in inventory right now.
Exactly.
So instead, we'll get to see some old school tech. This goes back to at least the 2017 tournament. Well, we're going to see an Ice Palace bomb jump today. Probably goes back longer than that, but that's the first rando I ever watched.
You know, I don't know when the first rando was that I watched.
I definitely didn't watch it in 2017. It was more like late 2019, but, you know, that when I searched YouTube and I said, you know what, I want to watch some Link to the Past. Oh, here's this rando thing. 2017 tournament. There are like 500 videos. All right, well, that'll keep forever.
3 days later.
Well, it was a little longer than that, but you're not wrong.
I know how it goes.
It took longer to tell the backstory than it did for GFE to hit his Ice Palace bomb jump.
Yeah, it was a nice bomb jump. Especially unbuffered.
Yep, that was Icebreaker before Icebreaker. Before that, you needed the key so that you could get into the room in the basement and hit that crystal switch and do another loop around to push a block, and it was really long and slow, and nobody really liked it.
Thank goodness for double pixel perfect bomb jumps.
Well, in fairness to that, at least there's not a bridge collapsing towards you at the time.
That's fair. But that's what pause buffers are for.
So it's not going to be Fighter Sword, but Master Sword Cold Stare here from GFE. Bombos to crack the shell as expected. We'll spin those puffs into the corner, and then the Rage Rod comes out.
Making very quick work of Cold Stare. Who would have thought the boss in an ice dungeon melts with a fire rod?
Koi seems to have neglected the lack of flippers there for a hot minute and tried to take a dip into Swamp. Now, there is a trick that will allow you to get most of the checks in that dungeon, but it is not race legal. And I have no idea how to perform it either. You know, since it's not a race legal trick, I never bothered to learn, but I've heard it's kinda silly to set up.
Well, you can get there from Hera using an out-of-bounds glitch, which is going to be a new race mode, I hear. Overworld glitches with some restricted glitches.
Now, I have heard this as well. It's not really my cup of tea, but it seems that there is a decent-sized and growing portion of the community that definitely is a fan of that kind of thing, and for those of you who do enjoy it, well, you know, more racing for you.
I mean, overworld glitches is fun on its own, but glitching in the underworld is significantly harder.
And here we are, GFE dropping into the Ganon fight. 4 crystals in hand is going to be able to damage the boss in Phase 4. Going to get a few bacon facts from the pig today.
And thanks, Scupula. It is the HMG tournament. I can never remember the acronym. Yeah, the diver down trick in Swamp won't actually work for the entrance. You can do an Ancilla fake flipper and get in, but the way that the stairs are made, it doesn't really work. Getting some beautiful cape strats here.
GFE making great use of that half magic and cape to go ahead and push on through Phase 2 in just a couple of cycles. And of course with the Master Sword, if you've been watching any of the main tourney, you know it's spin to win here. 12 spins Phase 1, 12 more spins Phase 2, 4 for Phase 3, and then 24, the tedium itself for Phase 4.
Too bad we never found those silvers. And we never will. Ooh. Missing torch glitch.
Not the easiest thing in the world to get with the fire rod, so going to have to burn at least one of those blue goo. I'm not sure what's in the other bottle there.
Hopefully it's a green.
And Koi has found the hookshot in the big chest of Desert Palace, and is out of Desert Palace. May well see a mountain play here out of Koi, and yep, that is the direction of travel there. Going to get to see a bit more of the world, but GFE is probably about halfway to done here.
Just about, yeah. Hopefully he brought enough magic. Ooh, nice triple here. That's very tight.
Yeah, you have to stick Ganon's landing on the lower side so you can get that very first one in. If you're too early, he'll freeze early and then still try to fire the fire bat from down there. Kind of like what happened right there. He was just a split second too early. And the other bottle is another blue potion. Here comes an entire additional full bar of half magic.
It should be more than enough.
Seems to have kind of found the range on those triples, and there we are. 24 spins in phase 4 go into the pig, and the pig explodes. GFE is going to stand there waiting for that bridge to appear with the sword raised high in the air while the fanfare plays. And as soon as that ends, he'll cross this bridge and finish first on the restream and first overall with a race time GG time of 55 minutes and 42 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for GFE.
It looks like during all of that Ganon spinningness, we did find the lamp. Looks like in Paradox.
And we're joined in the booth here by GFE. Good game to you.
Thanks. So about that torch glitch.
Yeah, about that torch glitch. Good thing you brought a couple blue goos with you.
Yeah, if I'd only had one, I would have just taken a fall right then and there. The only reason I missed it was when Ganon chose to work to that top corner. I couldn't exactly get to where I wanted, and just mistimed it as a result.
Well, but you still put him down.
Yep. Still pulled
Getting
it off.
Pretty impressive triples, even without torch glitch. That's extremely tight timing.
Yeah, one or two times. Well, one time I did get blue Ganon trying to do that, and another time I could tell that I was going to get another blue, so I just took the double instead. But feels good to pull those off. It's still doable with Fire Rod. I think it's technically doable with Lamp and Fire Rod, but it's even more tight. Speaking of Lamp, did anybody find that?
Yeah, it looks
Koi
like it
has-
is just pulled out of Paradox Cave here.
Yep. Koi unfortunately missed Skull Woods and thus did not get the hammer, and so is going to wind up double dipping Pod most likely. Also, obviously, has not been to ice.
Wait,
Less immediately important was the fact that he did not check the bottle vendor, and the boots were there, of course, as you know.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
he's been walking for 58 minutes.
When I got those, I was like, it is possible somebody could miss these, because money was not the best. But wow. My question, where did he get hookshot from? Because you said he was...
Desert Big Chest.
Okay. Oh, good thing I skipped desert, because I probably would have got baited. I definitely would have got baited up to the mountain before going back for Skullwoods. I almost chose to skip Skullwoods anyway, and flew straight from Graveyard Ledge to desert, so... definitely took the right 50-50 call there. Now, at least I got to give the Smith a world tour and a half.
That was a very extended world tour. We were quite impressed. The splash deletion went off flawlessly.
Yeah, process going into Dark World there was, I'm gonna check some stuff on the way, but there is a possibility this is a ped goal, and if it was, I literally was in go mode. So I really wanted to get to that pyramid.
And right before you found the hammer, we were trying to have a discussion of, well, where's GFE going to go next? And then I said, Ice Palace, and Exodus said, but he has no hammer. And then you walk into Skull Woods and find the hammer, and I said, so about that Ice Palace play I was talking about a minute ago.
Yeah, my next play was probably to go back to desert. and then that hook shot would have taken me all over the world. Say anybody who's keeping an eye on the race rooms probably metagaming this now, knowing that something is available to get your 4 dungeons, which in this case, you've got to find Hammer, because literally every crystal dungeon except Thieves and Eastern is Hammer locked. Well, I take that back. Meyer. But we didn't have Kane anyway.
Well, Koi has found the red cane, and that hook shot, since he doesn't have the boots, gives him access to that anyway, so he is in Meyer right at the moment. That's going to be crystal number 3 for him.
Yeah, that Hammer's still going to hard lock 3 of the crystals, or I mean 4 of the other crystals, so that's pretty rough. It is nice to get one of these that is actually friendly, so, because usually when I have a friendly mystery seed, it ends up being something like inverted Key Sanity all dungeon swordless with boss shuffle or something.
With boss shuffle and increased enemy health, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are reasons I don't play mystery.
That's basically my last 3 friendly races. So.
Fantastic.
With friends like these.
Exactly. Who needs regular enemies?
Yeah, it looks like the hammer would be something that would trip up a lot of people, especially once you see the goal.
I mean, honestly, given a normal seed, like if this weren't mystery at all, and I knew what the goal was, I'm the type who I'm probably going to go to the front of Pendant Skull anyway, because I don't have to complete it normally. I'm going to go there, I'm going to check the front, and then I'll go on about my business through Village of Outcasts. But since this was a mystery seed, and like I said, I knew head goal was a possibility, like your first thing you want to do is get to the pyramid and check the goal as fast as you can. And even though technically Hammer was available, but in your mind, you know you can still get there even though logically it's not available yet, because you would either have to go to Aga or get Hammer or Flippers. You're just rushing Pyramid. So you're not going to go out of your way for those other checks like Front of Skull. But that was definitely the play in this. Like if I go there, this is probably at least 15 minutes faster. And that sword and pod big chest was very welcome. That was the last piece of the puzzle. I was probably headed. If that wasn't there and Ice didn't have a sword, I was probably going to head to Pyramid Ferry and front of Hyrule Castle, hoping that there was one on my way to Ganon. And if not, then I'd go up to Paradox.
Sounds like a good plan. It's a nice collection rate.
Yeah, you get those in these nice fast Ganon mysteries. Feels good. I'm sure Koi probably didn't do this, but did he check the GT entry goal?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Could be wrong though.
I mean, I guess in theory you could think Hammer might be in there, because if it's low crystal, it could be. But, I mean, chances are you're rushing to get to as many high density areas, and if you've got access to another crystal, you're going to rush it. But anyway, guys, appreciate the commentary, appreciate our tracker. Looks like Scoopula. So I'm going to head off here, try to catch some. Well, I thought there was a league match, or I mean a tournament match going on, but it may have had some technical issues. I'm not sure.
Yep, good game to you once again. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for agreeing to be restreamed. Good game to you, GFE.
Appreciate it.
GG's.
GG. See y'all.
And that was Koi picking up crystal number 3, and Misery Meyer is going to go back in for the cutscene chest.
Yeah, it's not a chest that you want to have to go back for.
But in his mind, maybe his last remaining piece of progression to actually access one more crystal dungeon is there, so at this point you kind of got to go back.
Could be flippers.
Could be flippers. So here we are, an hour and 5 minutes in. This is probably a good time to remind you, if you enjoyed the show that GFE put on, if you're enjoying the show that Koi is continuing to put on for you, give these runners a follow. They're playing rando all the time. They're putting themselves out here to be seen for your enjoyment. My co-com, of course, is Hexodus. Tracking force today is Scupula. And I, just in case you are not familiar with me and the sound of my voice yet, am MindM.
I've been meaning to ask you, where does that have its origins?
What, the name?
Yes.
It's something I made up for a character that I wrote about 25 years ago and abandoned about 24 years ago, but hung on to the name for an online handle.
Fair enough. Mine was pretty much the same way. Was a D&D character.
Yeah, it's always interesting. There tend to be stories behind these things.
Usually, yeah.
It's a shame we didn't have that discussion before GFE came in here. It would be interesting to know what the story behind that one is.
I just assumed it was girlfriend experience, but...
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I haven't come up with anything better.
I could be wrong. Oh, GFE's confirming it's not that. It was a fantastic show. Yeah, that would have been a good question.
Alright, here's Koi, now in Skull Woods, which, whether he knows it or not, is where he needs to be. There he is with another one of those really clean spin/bomb jump lineups.
GFE literally stands for GFE.
Alright, not an acronym at all, just a name.
There's Koi's Go Mode.
I can't imagine that he goes to ice here with the big key already in hand for Palace of Darkness, just loot to 5.
Yep. Oh.
Or I'm a liar, alright.
Yeah. I don't know which is faster, to be honest.
Icebreaker does make Ice Palace pretty quick.
It does. Now, is it just me, or do we not have audio on Koi's side?
We do not have audio on Koi's side. He has a whole stream with a chat that he's interacting with, and he is talking to them, I assume, even as we speak.
Fair enough.
So while he does always run vanilla audio, we would also have Koi voice.
Self-commentation is always the best.
Well, if that's what you like, there are some runners who do that. I am, in fact, among them.
There are quite a few. Mostly because I guess most people don't like to be speculated upon.
For me, it's just an easy way to help think through the seed, and if anybody else happens to enjoy it, you know, they're welcome to drop by. Koi's going to go ahead and go back and hit that switch because he is go-moding this way he doesn't have to worry about the orientation of those pegs and the push blocks later on. Since
Yeah, I
while
mean,
he could open a
otherwise-
couple of chests here, the chances that he's going to find the big key are not necessarily all that great.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much pigeonhole yourself into finding that big key once you do that. Trying to fix this icebreaker here, which is not the easiest thing to do when the block is moved.
It is in fact fixable, but it's not always the easiest thing to do, so going to go ahead and set it up one more time.
There we go.
And yes, the chest in the Ice H room is going to be a little too far out of the way for Koi, you know, even though it might be a sword. Second place still on the line here, nobody else has finished yet. Tin-hole sticks not really going to do any good, unfortunately. Silvers were not found. Tucked away in Ganon's tower somewhere.
A probably validation chest. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you do that, you have to get off the super tile and come back on. And yes, GFE, to answer your question, Koi Sword was also from the big chest in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if there was another sword available somewhere.
Well, you know, as the saying goes, there's always a sword in swamp, so you just needed to find the flippers.
It's either that or laser bridge.
Well, there are two swords outstanding. There could be one in both.
Very true. I feel like I've had that seed.
I expect that a lot of us have had that seed from time to time.
And with that, Koi just needs to down Ganon.
Yep, the Dark World is just a quick flute to 5 away. A couple of screen transitions dashing, and then away you go for a Ganon fight.
Yagamoth here pointing out if you bonk Cold Stare into the top left instead of the top right, apparently it's easier to hit the puffs, and now I'm going to have to try that. At least with the fire rod. Because that is tech that I did not know.
Okay, here we go. One more Ganon fight on Master Sword. Silverless, of course, because we have learned silvers were in Ganon's tower.
It looks like Sandra's has finished with the second place.
Turns in a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds. Good for second overall there. Good game to you, Sandras.
Yeah, so Koi missed the boots. Money was extremely tight in the first part of this rando, and you had to walk past the bottle vendor, I think twice, before you had the money to pay him. So it's very easy to miss.
Koi also going Cape Strats here to get through Phase 2 relatively quickly.
It was a very good phase 2.
Ganon's going to inform us one more time of just where those silver arrows lay. No, Ganon, we did not in fact find the arrows in your tower.
But we are content to spin you forever. By getting those triples off and making it look easy.
Yep, when you have the torch glitch and you've done as much practice as Koi has on this fight in pretty much all of its forms, you see a lot of really nice triple execution.
Also a little easier to time when you can actually see where Ganon is.
This is true. If anyone has any questions for him, it appears that our second place finisher, Sandris, is in chat here with us. Good game to you.
No one blames you for looking for a sword. Silverless Ganon with the Master Sword is just slow.
Slow and tedious, but slow and steady does do the trick. Koi is standing there with that sword raised high in the air, 24 spins into the Phase 4 pig. Fanfare plays for just a little while longer and that bridge will appear. And he crosses and finishes third overall, second on our restream today with a 1 hour, 18 minute, and 5 second time on Restime GG. And we are joined in the booth by Koi. Koi, good game to you.
Okay.
And we are rejoined by GFE, who, true to his word, is going to come back for the interview with Koi. Would like to talk about the seed a little more, apparently.
Hey, GG's, Koi.
So apparently, there was a hammer in the front of Skullwoods that would have made the seed a little faster.
You know, the best thing that happened to me was not going into desert, apparently.
Desert. Oh, the hook shot?
Yeah, they told me that's where you got hookshot, because I'm not going back to Skull if I get that.
You know, like last locate Darkwold access felt so stupid. And then I get to the Dark World and I'm like, okay, well I could full clear Pendant Skull Woods, but it's probably not a Ped Seed. So, you know what? I'm just going to current jump and we're going to find out what I actually need to finish this game. And I find out it's 4 crystals, so I'm like, why would I ever go to Pendant Skull Woods now?
See, the reason I didn't was I was thinking this could be a Ped Seed, and if it is, I'm in go mode, so I'm going to rush to the pyramid and just skip everything else.
If we had the book earlier, but I mean, I remember I looked at the odds before the race started, and it's much more likely to be a not Ped Seed than to be a Ped Seed. Although
yeah, I mean,
the things that happen in this seed, nothing compares to how I skipped the bottle merchant.
oh man, that's rough.
Could have been worse.
I don't see how.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, actually.
I mean, you could have never found the hammer.
Well, I was down to it's in Skull Woods or it's Green Pendant, and I'm like, well, GFE probably wouldn't have finished when he did if it was Green Pendant, so whatever. I'll just go to Skull Woods.
Or you could be doing what I think Shire is doing. I'm pretty sure he skipped back a pod, and he's still hunting a sword.
Why would he skip that?
Shire's on Ganon right now.
No, okay, he finally found one.
Yeah.
When I checked, he had 5 crystals and was in Spike Cave and checking GT Gold. So
I had this real fantastic plan because I had already been to Pod because I did it while I was going over to check the pyramid. I wanted my last crystals to be like ice and Pod because you could just go through ice so fast. You don't even need the cane. You can just ice bounce bomb jump really easy like. So I figured when I found the hook shot, it's just hammer and hook shot cave. Let's go. Nope, completely empty mountain. You think I would have found a sword or something with all the extra checks I did?
yeah, that's a little shocking, honestly.
Well, you did find the cane up there.
Yeah, so I could do Mire. Yeah, my crystals are Eastern Thieves, Mire, and Ice.
Oh man.
But I did all of Pod except the boss.
Yeah, even though you full cleared Pod outside of Helmasaur because you had no hammer at the time.
I don't know what it would have been faster, like to go to Helmasaur or to just like go mode Ice. I decided to do Ice because like at least I could open some chests on the way and maybe get a sword or something.
Yeah, I think Go Mode Ice is faster, honestly.
It'd be pretty close. There's a lot of rooms before you get to Helma.
Yeah,
and then you have
you
to go through
gotta
the maze again.
exactly. And the cutscene with the wall.
Yep. But you did have a lamp, so at least you wouldn't have to do the turtle room in the dark.
He got the fire out of his sword. It's free.
Yeah, it's
At
relatively
least-
free.
At least you didn't do Master Sword Silverless no torch glitch with fire on. I'm just
Fine
glad I
with
had
that. If
I'm glad I had 2 blue pots.
Oh my god.
Oh.
No, there's a nifty strat you can do for the turtle room in the dark if you have a fire on a sword. If you just if you walk into the room with your sword held down and you hold down left, you can fire rod right after you tink off of a turtle, and it'll always hit the torch.
I need to try that. My room was a mess today. Usually
Yeah.
it goes well. It didn't go so well today.
Alternatively, you can just like step to the left and then shoot down, but that requires you to step the right amount left, which isn't always so easy.
Strangely enough, that's exactly how I do it. I just walk to the left and shoot down.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, I'm a very rhythm-based guy, so a lot of the rhythm-based tricks are very easy for me, so that's how I do it. But I'm certainly going to try your sword tink method because that sounds way easier.
It's a little dependent on equipment. Like you have to have a sword and a fire rod.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. Well, I feel like I have thoroughly embarrassed myself enough for one day, so I'm gonna take off.
So all you're going to do is go stream 2 more seeds.
All right. But yeah, thanks for signing up to Calm, you guys. We almost didn't get a restream at all.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it, and then I got into your chat, and I saw you had a race room up, and I clicked over to the race room and saw it was a speed gaming daily. And then, funnily enough, about 30 seconds later, the speed gaming folks said, "Hey, emergency ping, we need comms."
And I was debating whether or not to join, and then I'm like, nah, you know what? I'd rather calm.
Thanks very much, you guys.
So yeah, thanks both of you for coming out, putting on a show. Good luck to you in the future, whether you're racing other people or just playing some viewer seeds.
All right, I do believe that finishes that up for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yep, let's look ahead at the schedule. Daily race series, come back tomorrow if you want a little retrance in your life. Retro Entrance Randomizer on Wednesday, June the 2nd at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. That is also going to be on Speed Gaming 4. Looks like later in the week we've got an Open 7-7 in the evening and a Triforce Hunt on Friday afternoon. If you're looking for main tournament action, Main Tourney has... looks like we've got some Wednesday matches, a 12:10 p.m. Eastern start tomorrow. Asasas versus Top Life, and an evening tilt at 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Pika Pals versus Ninban. The first of those on Speed Gaming, the second one on Speed Gaming 2. And beyond that, I will just go ahead and say thank you all for coming out, for spending an hour and 20 minutes or so with us. You know, thanks so much for the runners, for coming out, putting on a good show for us. GFE, Koi, thank you so much. To my co-com, Hexodus, it was a pleasure. I did enjoy it. We'll have to do it again sometime. Our tracker here has been Scupula, doing yeoman's work behind the scenes, making sure that all of those items show up right where we need them. Helps us as commentators stay in line, although that's not even the easiest thing. One of us couldn't even count tonight.
That's all right. And thanks, Mindium, for coming out and helping with comms as well. Yeah, we definitely have to do this again sometime. Hopefully when it's not last minute.
Alright, I do believe that is going to put the wrap on it. This is the end of today's Speed Gaming Daily Race. This was Mystery Friendly Weights. This is MindDM signing off for myself, Hexodus, and Scupula. Have a good night, everybody.